Frank, it's so good to be with you here at the Republican National Headquarters studio, this beautiful studio that you have here.
Welcome to the RNC.
Thank you so much. Now, Frank, Democrats suggest that a vote for Senator McCain is a vote for a third Bush term.
I appreciate the fact that Senator Obama would rather talk about the past than the future, but the fact is that the choice we face in 2008 is about the next 4 years, not the last 4 years. And so Senator McCain and Senator Obama, we need to look at both of those individuals and what they're running on. Senator McCain has his own views. He has his own priorities. He will have his own appointees running his government, and he will make decisions based on what he believes to be in the national interest. Sometimes he agrees with Republicans, sometimes he works with Democrats, sometimes he works with independents. But I think that's his strength, is he's a man of action, he wants to get things done, and he'll work with whomever he thinks can help move our country forward.
Can you give us an example of a few items that Senator McCain has voted on where he's not in line with the party or the president?
He pushed this administration to change policy in Iraq. The surge is working. The policy was not working before that. That's change you can count on. He's a strong believer in fiscal discipline. He would be much tougher on federal spending, earmarks, additional federal spending than maybe the present administration. He has worked with Democrats, Republicans in the past on things such as immigration, on campaign finance reform. I guess what I'm saying is that he's a conservative man that wants to be successful and wants to find common sense solutions to America's problems. And so that means he comes at things from a limited government perspective, but he's smart enough to know that if you're going to get things done, you have to work with Democrats also. Now,
Senator Obama has implemented what he calls a 50-state strategy, and his plan is to turn some of those red states blue. What is the GOP strategy to keep those red states red?
Well, we want to keep the red states red.
I'm sure you do.
And I'll make a prediction to you right now that we're going to keep virtually all of them red. I feel very, very comfortable.
What about in the South? Because some suggest there's a new South. What about those southern states like Georgia?
There is a new South, and they vote Republican because the old South used to be Democratic. But I feel pretty comfortable that we're going to be okay in the South. I would also add to what you said, though, that we have our own plan to make some blue states red.
Really? I want to hear this. What are you going to do?
Well, we think that there are a number of so-called blue states, and I don't like the blue-red description because it implies that these are separate entities. They're really not. Okay. But for purposes of 2004, states that voted for Senator Kerry, we believe that there are a number of them out there that are very, very winnable for Senator McCain this time, and I'll start with my state of birth, Pennsylvania. Okay. I think we have an excellent chance to make Pennsylvania a John McCain state. I think Michigan, a state that has suffered from very bad economics, primarily because of a Democratic governor who has implemented policies similar to what Senator Obama has promised to do nationally. I think that we have a real shot in Michigan. Wisconsin is always close. I think we have a very, very good chance there. We're not going to concede the Northwest, Oregon and Washington, for example. So, and there may be some others out there, but there are a number of fairly large states where we think Senator McCain has strong appeal beyond that of a traditional Republican.
So, if that's the case, why is Senator McCain having such a difficult time raising funds? Through the month of May, he had raised $120 million to Senator Obama's $280 million. Hillary Clinton, when she was in the race, had twice as much money in her campaign as Senator McCain. Why isn't the GOP, those Republican voters and supporters, throwing their money behind Senator McCain right now?
Well, things are getting much better. You know, one way to look at finance is what people have raised. And you are quite correct. If Senator Obama has raised a lot of money, and so Senator Clinton raised a lot more than Senator McCain. However, the other way to look at it is what's in the bank. Okay. I mean, it's great to raise a lot of money, but if you spent it all already, then you're not in as strong a position. As of the end of May, if you add together the amount of money that McCain has on hand, which was about $30 million, to what the RNC had on hand, which was about $52 million, we had over $80 $2 million in the bank.
Okay.
Against Obama and the DNC had about half that. And I can tell you that our June numbers are even better. The combined cash on hand for June for the RNC and for McCain is upwards of $95 million now.
Okay.
So we started late,
okay.
But we're catching up very, very rapidly. What I want to tell you is I don't know if we're going to match Obama dollar for dollar.
Okay.
But what I can tell you is that Senator McCain will have sufficient resources to take his message to all corners of America. We will not lose this race because of a lack of funds.
Okay, because I'm just thinking back to the Bush-Cheney campaign in 2004, $419 million. Do you think Senator McCain can reach that point?
Well, that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
And you remember, of course, President Bush was the incumbent at that time,
Sure.
and you can start. You know, you have the ability to raise funds over a longer period of time. I don't know that we'll quite get to that, but what I'm saying to you is that when you add the $85 million of public money that we're going to get, that Senator McCain is going to get in the fall, and you add to that the cash on hand and the additional monies that the RNC is going to raise over the next 4 months, we'll have enough money to run a very competitive race. Will
it depend on who Senator McCain takes as his running mate? Here's the Veep stakes again.
You know, I think whoever Senator McCain picks, what he said is that he wants somebody that he's comfortable with, that shares his general philosophy, and that could be commander-in-chief if would be a plausible commander-in-chief if that were to occur. And so we have a lot of good candidates that fit that bill, but you know what? That choice is the boss's, so I'm not going to speculate beyond that.
You think he knows yet?
I don't.
Without giving us a name, do you think he actually knows who he wants to choose at this point?
I don't know for certain, but I don't think so.
Okay, okay. Let's look at also the GOP itself. There's a possibility in November that the party could lose up to 20 seats. Very vulnerable time for the party. What is the GOP strategy to hang on to those seats?
Well, I think 20 seats would be the outside. I don't think it's going to be that. We have a long way to go for that. You know what? I think that the goal here for our party is the same as it is for Senator McCain. We've got to talk directly to the American people. There are real issues that they're concerned about. They're concerned about the economy. They're concerned about sky-high gas prices. They're concerned about the issue of terrorism and being successful in Iraq. And I think it's up to each and every, I would say to anyone that's running as a Republican, just like we're trying to do for Senator McCain, it's up to each of you to talk to your district, talk to the voters in your district or your state, and give them a compelling reason why life will be better, why our country will be more secure if you're elected.
How important for Senator McCain are those Hillary Clinton Democrats, those Democratic voters who said, you know what, if it's not Hillary, then I'm staying home or I am changing parties? How important are they going to be to Senator McCain in November?
Yes, there are some Hillary Democrats. I'd prefer to call them Reagan Democrats.
Okay, let's call them Reagan Democrats.
Because these are primarily blue-collar workers that live in places like Western Pennsylvania, Eastern Ohio, places that are working-class Democrats and who are cultural conservatives. You know, who don't own guns and like their religion because of an economic slowdown, and so I think a culturally conservative approach to these voters, talking about values, talking about security, that if there's one individual that you can trust to keep America safe, there's one person that's capable of being commander-in-chief from day one. That's Senator McCain by a mile. I think if we sell that message directly to those voters, we have a real chance to pick up a significant portion of the Democratic vote this time.
I can recall attending the CPAC conference earlier in the year, and there were some attendees who were very upset when Mitt Romney pulled out of the race. They felt he was the conservatives' conservative. They don't feel as confident about Senator McCain that he is the conservatives' conservative. What do you say to those those Republicans who say, you know what, I don't like the GOP's choice. I'm definitely not voting Democrat, so I'm staying home in November.
Well, first of all, Governor Romney, being the classy person that he is, has stepped up and is really campaigning overtime for Senator McCain, as is all of the other candidates in our party. Mayor Giuliani, Governor Huckabee are all very active in our campaign. I think what we've seen is a coming together of our party over the last several months. All the surveys that I've seen show us topping 90% among Republicans in terms of support for Senator McCain. Now we want to get that up even more.
Sure.
But on the issues of low taxes, keeping spending under control, fighting and winning the war on terror, Senator McCain is very much in agreement with I think virtually all Republican voters. And then when you add to that his independent streak, his ability, his reputation as a maverick. We talked earlier about his willingness to work with Republicans, Democrats, and independents. He has a lot of support among independents also. When you put that package together, that's why even in very tough economic times when the country believes we're headed in the wrong direction, Senator McCain is very, very competitive now. And as I say, when the American public focuses seriously on this choice in October, I have every expectation that they'll choose Senator McCain.